Hello everyone, what's up? So in this video we will be creating our first Flutter app. So before we do that, make sure to subscribe the channel and click on the bell icon as well. So basic rule, in order to create a new Flutter project, we will click on create new Flutter project, and here we will specify our Flutter SDK path and hit next, and we will provide a name for our project. So let's say this is my first app and for YouTube. So let this be com.example, but if you are building the app for Play Store, make sure to change this because com.example is not accepted. So here we can check Android and iOS and Kotlin and Swift, and we'll finish this. So this is creating our new Flutter project. So now we can see here main.dart file, and here is my project folder. So in my project folder I can see a lib folder where this main.dart file is located. So basically this is the home, this will be the home screen of our app. So when we will run our app, the main.dart file will be the first one to be considered. So let me run the emulator. So now we have our emulator running side by side. So I will just start this app. So now we have our demo app running. So in order to make you understand, I will just delete this whole lot of code written by the Flutter team. So now here we can see a function is defined, void main, which have this function run app with my app as a function. So when we hover over my app, this shows my app is not a class. So basically my app is not defined, we haven't defined my app. In order to define this, we will try typing st and l, and here we can see it shows something stless, that is new stateless widget. So we'll create this new stateless widget and we will name this as my app. So now we have defined this my app as a stateless widget, so this error is now not here, and now we can see it returns a container. And if we will hot reload this app, we can see there is nothing on the screen. So basically now we have to define a material app. So we will type here material app, and as soon as we type here material app, here we can see it shows a debug banner. So we will turn this off. Show debug check banner, we'll set this as false. Now material app takes some properties, so we'll use the home property, and here we will define another widget, that is scaffold. So as soon as we define this scaffold, we can see there is a white layering over our app. So now this scaffold is dominating all the area above our mobile screen, so we can change the background color as well. So we'll add this color to the yellow accent. So here we can see to define a color, we will start with C capital and then dot, and then there are already some predefined colors. So if you need to define a custom color here, so we will not use this colors, instead we will use this color function, and we will use 0 and xx xff. So basically this is standard code which we have to add before our color code. So now we need to take our color code. So white color has a color code of FFF. We'll save this, and here we can see we get white color. So basically we can define our own custom colors as well in this way. So now we don't need the custom color, we'll take yellow accent. So now we will play with the column widget, and our scaffold widget has another property called body. And with this body widget we have another property, that is app bar. So app bar is basically the upper app bar which is shown over here, and the body is the complete body of our app. So app bar property accepts app bar widget. So in this way we will create this app bar, and this app bar needs something, that is when we will hover over this, and we can see here dot analysis expected an identifier. So here this body is empty, so we will fill this up. So let's take column here, and this column takes children. So now default theme of our app is the blue color, so the app bar is displayed in blue color. So we can actually change this color. So you'll see here background color, so we'll change this to white, or we will change this to yellow accent, and we'll change this to white. So now this looks good. So this is our app bar, and the white color is our body of our app. So we'll play with the column widget. So column widget accepts children. So let's give some children here. So we'll give containers. So we'll take this container and copy this thrice, and each of the container will have different color. Colors dot green, and then dot blue. So we will save this, and we will specify height and width as well. So let's make it as square, and width as well we give 40. So now we can see this red colored container. So let's take this as 140. So now this is large enough to be seen. We'll add this height and width to every container. So now we have these three containers with some height and width and color, so that we can identify them. So we want them to be in center. So in order to do this, we can wrap this column with center widget. So we'll click on this column widget, and here we can see a bulb in Android Studio, and here we will see wrap with center. And as soon as we hit save, we can see our column is centered. So now we will play with some main axis alignment. So now let's remove this center widget. So we'll remove this widget, and we will use this main axis alignment, which accept main axis alignment. So here we can see the property starts with a small letter, and then it is all camel casing, but here it starts with the big letter and then all it's camel casing. So we'll remove this size, we'll instead use alignment dot center, and let's see what happens. So here also we gave it main axis size, but we need main axis alignment. So we'll hit save, and we can see that our containers were at the top of this app body, and now when we have defined main axis alignment dot center, so these are actually centered. So basically this vertical alignment of the column is the main axis alignment. So now this main axis alignment has more properties. So before we see them, let us wrap this with center. So now we have centered this from here as well, and now we will replace the center with start. With start. And when we replace this with start, this children's of our column are now placed from above of our app bar. So in order to see some more properties, we will use here end. So this will place them at the end of the screen, and we have something called space around. So this put space between everything, between the screen as well. So here some space is added, here some space here, so these are actually looking good. So we have something called space evenly as well. So space evenly will do something so space evenly will add equal amount of space. So we can see from the top app bar the amount of space is equal to the space that is at the bottom of the screen. So basically it adds the even space, so as the name suggests, space evenly. And now we have something called space between, and let's see this. So this will add space between these containers, or to say the children of the column. So there is no space left at the top side and at the bottom side of the screen. So these were the properties of the column. Now if we will replace the column with the row, so these will be placed in a row, and here we can see that some pixels overflowed. That is because these containers are really large in height and width. So we will shape this as 40. So we'll take this out. So now we can demonstrate here. So first of all, it is centered using the centered widget, and then we have the child as a row, and which has a main axis alignment, which is the horizontal alignment. So basically columns main axis alignment is vertical and rows main axis alignment is the horizontal. So here we can test as well. So it has some other values as well. So this is the start, which is working the same way as it was working vertically, and we'll use this end here. So this is all really same. And now we have something cross axis alignment. So cross axis alignment dot stretch. When you stretch this, we can see all these are stretched. So a main axis alignment of a row was the vertical one, but cross axis alignment is the horizontal one, and but the cross axis alignment is the vertical one. So basically when we will define this cross axis alignment dot stretch, so it will stretch our containers in this way. So now we can actually use this both together as well in row or a column. So we defined cross axis alignment as stretch, so these are now stretched vertically, and main axis alignment was of row was this horizontal one, where we have defined that it should be at the center. So these are placed at the center. Here we can space evenly as well. We can use this, and now we can see there is even space between each of them and the screen. So this was playing with rows and columns and containers. Now let's see some properties of our app bar. So app bar has a title property. So as a title we want to show a text on our app bar, so we will use this so-called text widget, and this text widget takes text inside it. So we'll name this as M Superman. So now we can see by default the color of the text is white, so we can change this color as well using the style property. And here we will use the text style widget, and which takes a parameter called colors dot black. So we'll hot reload this, and we can see the text color is changed. So now we can see our title is aligned at the left side of the screen. So we have another property, that is center title, and we will replace this and we will write here true. So now when we will set our center title as true, this will be centered, our text will be centered, or whatever the title is. So basically we'll use this to center. And if you are running it on an iOS simulator, then you don't need this center title. Basically So now we will replace this row with the column widget, and we will remove this cross axis alignment, and now we will have only one container. We will remove these two containers as well. We will remove this height and width because the image I am going to use has its own height and width, so we don't need here height and width now. So now this container also takes a child, and here in child we will use something called image dot asset. So we'll add here an image. So basically we can use a network image as well. So we'll type here network. So you can change this network to asset and asset to network. So now we need to specify a URL here. So let me capture a URL. So now I will add a URL here, and I will hot reload this, and now we can see we have an image here. So this has a background of red, and this shows that when we add an image into our container, this automatically takes the needed space, so we don't need to specify height and width. So we can actually specify size here as well. So let's see, size is not here, so we'll use this height property and we'll define this as 20. So this will be minimized to the height of 20. So if we will remove this height and will not specify any height or width, this will take the width and height of the image. So we'll remove this color, and now this has no background. So we successfully used our image.network widget to display image on our app. So now let's talk about the asset. So in order to use an image from our own files, we need to use this image.asset property, and we will remove this URL, and we will create here in our project a new directory called assets, and in assets we will create another directory, images. So now we have assets and images. Now we need to move one of our image here. So we'll take this and we will move this image into our images folder, and we will refactor this, and now we have moved our image here. So our image is in the asset folder, and then in images, and then superman.png. So before we use this image, we need to tell our project that this image is allocated here. So we'll go to pubspec.yaml file and we'll scroll down, and we can see here some sample code. So we will uncomment this, and now we'll place this according to the indentation. So now we'll remove this one, and we'll add here assets, and here we'll use images. So if you want to use a particular image, you can actually specify the complete name here, like we have this superman.png, assets, images, and superman.png. So this will also work, and if you have more than one images in a single folder, so you can actually leave this and only specify the path to the folder, and we'll hit on the pubget. So now we did this successfully, and now we need to click on get dependencies, and we will add the path here. So we have the path as assets / images / superman.png. So if we will run this, we will see here we don't have an image. So we need to restart this app in order to get those dependencies we just now updated. So now when we will hot restart this app, we can see we have our image here. So what we will do is we will remove this space evenly, and then this places our image file over the top. And now we will use here main axis alignment dot center. So now we have this image at the center. So this is it. This was our first app. So what we learned in this video was how to create an app bar, and we learnt about the material app, we learnt about the debug check banner mode, we learnt about the scaffold widget which takes app bar and body, and this app bar we learnt about its center title property, background color, and we also learned how to add images to our Flutter app using the network URLs or the asset images. So this was it guys. So we will meet in the next video with some more content. Till then, bye bye, take care.